Yes, sir.
Is my yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Today we'll be covering the understanding of variables, uh, and how and we will restrict. बहुत simple है. Some slides may be repetitive, but try to understand the meaning of variables. I'll just explain to you mota mota. See, variables means basically क्या होता है कि the factors which you want to study. Let's say for an example, uh, taking a cue from Benki's this one. TV viewership, Hindi viewership is one. He's talking about Hindi viewership, right? Not English viewership. So Hindi viewership is one. You have to justify why did you take up. Venki, please make a note. Why did you take up Hindi viewership? Yeah?
I
Why
have
you're
given,
not
sir.
taking English
I have
viewership?
given the
Just
share of
the
viewership. The biggest pie is Hindi viewership. Yeah.
yeah. So why Hindi viewership has taken so
Yeah.
Hindi viewership is one variable. So what is the outcome? जैसे आपका है consumer behavior, purchase behavior is the outcome, right? Is the dependent variable. जैसे मैंने आपको कहा पहले मोटा मोटा मैं समझा देता हूँ, so बाद में it will be easier for us to do that. Say TV देखने से चश्मा लगता है. TV देखना is the independent variable, which I keep repeating, and chasma lagna is the dependent variable. So whatever we say, cause and effect, right? So let's the start the session. So having understood the independent dependent variable, so whenever we write abstract, a research structure, it has to have an abstract, which will come later, summary. Then introduction we have covered already, and which Vijayashree will be uploading next week, introduction chapter, and then literature review after editing. Of course, you'll be editing it and putting some music, so make it more interesting, ma'am. I hope you
Yes,
will
sir.
doing for the because you're IT person, you can do that. I think I've got hold of the right person. Then the literature review we have covered already.
Yes,
And
sir.
then today we'll be covering the identification of variables. And then we cover the methods like research design, sample design, questionnaire design, data design. And then the results will be how to write an expected result. That will not take much time. Then discussion and conclusion and references. Now, what we covered last time, if you remember, that the literature review can be done through the periodicals, or journals, or internet publications, conference proceedings, thesis, or books or textbooks. Uh, so, like when we are, if you remember, we have covered this point. That means you give the name of the author, year, then journal, right? And full reference you give. So what is the advantage? The advantage is, and then you give the country name. And the advantage is that, we can say that this country, suppose we get number of papers from the US. As on today, the US has the maximum number of publication, followed by UK, and then followed by Germany, and then France in terms of publications. And then comes Japan, and then comes China, and India is upcoming country. So now people are encouraging Indians to, publish. India means from India origin, not from the US origin. Indian from US origin are plenty, but Indian from India origin are less, right? So it helps you to, formulate some, inference on the same, and then the gap and uh, the gap analysis. This is how we have discussed last time, if you recall, right? So literature review basically, I said that you take up only last 10 years, and don't take up the references from the newspaper or from the non-paid journal. So take up from the non-paid journal, and which are listed in ABC listed journal, or you can take books, and you have to download at least 25 to 50 papers minimum. And then as we progress, we can download more papers. This we have seen. So I'm just trying to, expedite, hurry up. So general source could be newspaper, magazine for data like Bach study like he has done, Venki has done. The secondary source, there's all secondary source like books, review, can also quote some, some definitions you can quote from the books, say Philip Kotler's book or Kaler's, these are standard books. Or, the primary source from the journals you can give the, the definitions. So having discussed this, so the questions are all the primary source cited in the review. That's what I was talking to Venki, if you remember. कोई भी figure होगा, आपको author का नाम देना पड़ेगा. Don't say source, just say Srivastava 2020, like that. Are the reference current? Are relevant studies identified and described? Then are relevant benchmark landmark studies described? See, for an example, at present I'm doing a study on TV dialogue versus film dialogue, which I was talking to you earlier. So I'm still writing. It takes about 2 to 3 months to write 1 or 2 research paper. So, I'm just trying to who are the person who have done landmark study on the the dialogue part. Then I could find out, oh, koi Russell karke tha, 2000 mein kiya hai. So I have to catch hold of that author. I mean, read that paper. It takes a lot of time, and then are the study, reviewed and criticized so that you can do that. So these are the few things which we have discussed already. Now here, this is the point which I wanted to tell you. A literature review is of 3 types. One, integrative review, which I have told you in detail, कैसे लिखना है, author का नाम, क्या area में study किया, क्या gap था, and then you can write down the abstract. The second one is theoretical review. That means what? When you read a paper, so they have studied certain theories to explain the behavior. See, for an example, if Venki is studying the viewership, or if Aditi is trying to study the, personal care, right? Personal care में consumer purchase behavior क्या होता है? And so there has to be certain theory to explain that why, the male are now, young males are more interested and buying more personal care product. Why they want to groom themselves? There is a theory to explain this behavior, right? In today's scenario, right? Why the millennium or the generation Y is more, the conscious about their personal hygiene or personal care. So there is a theory to explain, right? So that theory, that can be explained by going through the theoretical review, because each paper, a good journal will always have a paper, as they say, theory of planned behavior. Theory of planned behavior is ideally suited for Aditi paper or Vijay's paper or even Venki's paper, because why I behave, theory of planned behavior is peripheral as well as there are 2, left brain, right brain. So, when if I'm more emotional, so that means my peripheral brain is more active. So I tend to behave, more emotionally. So, that theory you can bring in, theory of planned behavior. So you can think of 1 or 2 theories, and this is how the theoretical review can be done. So you can say a author ने इस topic ये topic लिया था और ये study किया था. So you can link, that ये topic में उसने ये study किया था. Am I clear? Or any confusion from my side?
Clear, sir.
Yeah.
But it's
yeah.
not an absolute must that we should have theoretical review. But if there is a
it's not a must, but you can bring
if there is a relevance, yeah.
Then comes methodological review. That means, like, how the brand recall was measured, how the purchase intentions were measured, on what parameters, methodological review. So ये कहाँ मिलेगा आपको? In questionnaire design. Questionnaire design को क्या होता है? Variables को measure करना पड़ता है. So when you are downloading the paper, you focus on questionnaire design, because suppose your topic is consumer behavior, say purchase intention is one of the consumer behavior, purchase intentions, right? So purchase intentions, is what, how they have measured, this author has measured. So you can get the idea that, is it very definite, or maybe, may not be, a scale, right? So you can get a scale of measurement. So kya hota hai, then they no need for validation. So this is how, the methodological review can be done, and focus on the questionnaire here. The focus is on the questionnaire design, because you can get the variables, how they are measuring the variables through this review process. So let me summarize. Very important thing. One, integrated review, I've told you already. Number two, theoretical review. Try to see, write down the author's name, author's topic, and then क्या theory उसने use किया. So बाद में हम लोग देखेंगे कि when to use it, not in the research proposal. When we write synopsis, when we write theory, thesis, then we'll be needing this. But at least data should be available with you. And then comes, the methodological review. Here you have to write down the questionnaire design. That means variables measured, and then topic, variable measures. We have already got in an integrated में. तो उसमें जो है, each variable just say that how they are measured. That's all. So that it becomes easier for you to write the questionnaire design. Any confusion from my side?
No, sir.
So this is just a summary. So I just skip past. So we have seen this. Another way of the summary literature review is that you write down the variables, and then left hand side, right hand side, you give all the names of the author. See how I have given like this, something like this. You can do. There's another way of suppose you are writing literature review में भी 2-3 होगा ना आपका, 2-3, 1.2.1, 2.2, 2.3. So in 2.1 you can follow this example, and in 2.2 you can follow this example. That way. Yeah. So make it interesting. But our students have followed only this example. All my proposals were on this. So you can do this. I leave it to you. If you are innovative, you can do that. Whichever wherever you are having a comfort zone, follow that. So this is how, see for an example, we have done like this. We have analyzed this is also approved the proposal. We have taken theories, and then what who has propounded this theory, what they have covered, and then what are the missing points in the theory. It is done by the director of vice president. Is a vice president audit. The financial person, finance person, is a vice president audit of Taj Group of Hotels. So these are you must have, all of you have got the the reference login reference from.
Yes, sir, we got that.
Yeah. And you can get also CME data, because the CME gives you a lot of corporate the industry data. So if you're looking for, say Aditi, if you're looking for personal hygiene, market size kya hai? Because see, in case of Venki, because he is heading that, data to is a paid data is available for the, but other data may not be available. Right? So and CME data में जाकर के आपको पूरा data आपको मिल जाएगा, particular segment में आपको data मिल जाएगा, because the password is the same. That's what we have got that. Otherwise normally ProQuest का password अलग होता है, EBSCO का अलग होता है. Say Ajiti has given us password for ProQuest, right? So, but this is all password is for all, and she has given you the reference also. So this is how we have discussed, right? Now let us try to discuss this point. At least we'll cover what are the variables. Then later on we can cover the topic separately. theoretical construct that requires a lot of discussion. So what do the variables means? Nothing great. Which varies, variable means it varies, very simple. Jada, you don't get confused, but still people get confused because they don't know ये independent है कि dependent है, ये moderating है कि intervening variables है. So I just मोटा-मोटा मैं आपको समझाता हूँ. Independent माने जो control manipulate हो सकता है, right? And dependent variable outcome क्या होगा, cause and effect, ये ध्यान में रखिएगा. टीवी देखने से चश्मा लगता है, right? Now what is moderating variable? Duration, right? Duration of watching TV, distance of watching TV, and what is intervening variable? Quality of TV. Quality of TV screen.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know now, but at least LED TV का अभी तो मेरे पास flat TV है, so I don't know what it is. LED है क्या है? So whether the quality earlier it used to be there, I don't know. The quality of TV, the length of the TV, whether बड़ा TV देखने screen देखने से आँख पे कम असर पड़ेगा. So that became the latent variable. I wanted to give you मोटा-मोटा हिसाब से. Latent means indirect influence, not direct moderating effect. Right? Clear? Any confusion from my side?
Yes.
So
I mean, in my case, the dependent variable is the TV viewership because that's the outcome that we are unchangeable, and independent is the social media conversation, the volume of mentions, because that's what we are trying to study if that goes up. And I think sentiment or the kind of influencers that could be the moderating variables. Yeah, great, thanks.
So type of variables, as I was telling you earlier, could be, I'll just make it a little bigger for you. It is like, the independent, dependent, we know very well, Then, it is also called predictor. Don't get confused by this terminology because when you use Amos, we will come later. Abhi nahi, फिलहाल अपने को basic पे जाना है. If you come, say, basic पे, independent is called predictor and dependent variable is called outcome. So when you use Amos, these are the terminology. Exogenous, endogenous, ये सब बाद में use करेंगे. Endogenous, dependent, exogenous, independent. So ये सब terminology भूल जाइए. जो commonly used terminology क्या है? Independent, dependent, moderating, third, and the fourth is intervening. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
When intervening variables are there, I have to use Amos, otherwise no. So say for an example, this is the research questions. The research question is, let me make it little sort of for me also. How could extended use of internet negatively affect college students' academic performance? So independent variable will be internet use, attributes will be high, moderate, low or none. Independent variable will be the attributes like dependent variable will grades, GPA, and independent variable will be this is a dependent variable. So how internet use will affect the grades. Nothing great. I'm talking to you. Then I'm just trying to hurry up. I want to finish this part. Independent variable can be manipulated. Right, so it is also called experimental, So I do the experiment to manipulate it, like TV viewership can be manipulated by putting some, the hot scenes in like Netflix has done, So I don't know, right or wrong, there has to be certain censorship. So the TV viewership can improve by introducing certain violence, in the serial. So but family cannot see that. So that is the reason why Star they have got 24% market share as far as Hindi viewership. I don't know. So this is how the the those students of mine, who are not good, in drawing. So I just say, दो drawing बना दो, ऐसा एक block बना दो, उधर independent डाल दो, इधर dependent डाल दो, एक arrow दिखा दो, अब उस arrow के ऊपर एक बड़ा box बना दो, वो moderating डाल दो, हो गया आपका theoretical construct तैयार. And I've submitted like this, don't worry. And I submitted research paper also like that. Okay, if you're not good in drawing, then you can do ये तो बना सकते हैं ना. It's very easy to make it, and it becomes very clear that this is how it affects. So this is the way you have to explain how this is called the developing a theoretical construct, which we will cover next time in detail. Okay. So that is how we have discussed this, how the variables are identified, right? This we have seen this part. So then after once you have done, actually they basically this I have taken from the from the research proposal. So this is how we have written, and then we have explained that the independent variable kaun sa hai, dependent variables kaun sa hai. See, this is how we have made a table. I just explained. देखिए table बनाया मैंने. Independent variable क्या क्या है? Then the list of variables. This is a table you have to make in the research proposal. This is the must, because otherwise they return. So we have to make table. I was not telling you to make tables in introduction, right? I was telling you to make tables, 1 or 2 tables in the literature review, right? But here it is compulsory to make a table कि हम independent variable क्या ले रहे हैं, dependent variable क्या ले रहे हैं, और moderating variable. This is very, very important. So and then you have to explain like this, meaning of each variable, and this meaning journal or from the textbook. I have taken this, it was overlooked by me, and we have taken from Wikipedia. So the entire research proposal was held up. Topic approved but held up for discussion. So क्या नया situation पैदा हो गया. Then there was one reference, one variable was given reference of Wikipedia author's name. So that is the you have to explain the meaning of each variable. So this is how the which we have discussed. So this is some of the for an example, this is the proposal of Sadhana Award. We have given this different variables, and then we have given author's name like that, and then we converted this into a model. We'll be covering this again detail, don't worry, just to say how the model can be done. So if you're good in designing, you can do like this, moderating variable, then see this arrow, direct, indirect, is having effect, cumulative effect. This cumulative moderating and dependent variable ka, how it affects the prescription behavior indirectly, that is also shown. And all these has to be explained through the building of the hypothesis, because hypothesis consists of only these variables. There is no other words which the hypothesis contain only variables. It doesn't contain any other variable which are not listed. Yeah. That is called the graph. Mathematical formula like this, which will, don't worry, itna confusion mat kariye, mat hojiye. This is another way I can explain that this is the methods. And then this is the another simple way of doing it. दो box बना दीजिए, ज़्यादा moderating variable है तो ऐसा सा box बना दीजिए, उसको arrow बना दीजिए और बना दीजिए, हो गया तैयार. So this is, I have done it personally myself. I'm not good in, you know, in computer usage, but at the same time, जो अपना काम चलाने के लिए होता है आपने सीखा है. So this is the way I learned, right? So you can just explain to like this. Then brand equity, then here consumer purchase behavior. So that big arrow shows that, yeah, this is how it affects. Then you have to explain now. So this is another way of showing that. Another way of showing that. This is the, you know, this is the ad. This is one paper I wrote with Beverly Anderson, she was the dean of California State University. So where I used to go and deliver lecture in earlier days. I'm talking about 2008 to 2012. After I came to Sydney, I stopped going there. I went to San Francisco and Wisconsin, which I go regularly. So we published one paper together, you know, like global ads. जैसे आपको पवस्कर जी बता रहे थे ना, कि global ads versus local ads का. So it, you know, culture plays a very, very important. That factor you have to bring in. You know, Maharashtrian, जैसे मैंने बताया, West Indian and North Indian, they are carried away by the global ads, global brands. They're crazy, even though it will be substandard, but they'll say, "Arey, I go to global, I purchase global brands, even though, you know, kapda ka quality bekar hoga, right? People go to US and they bring India made shirts and they say, मैंने India US से खरीदा. मैं like किधर से लिया? जरा पीछे का लेबल बताओ. फ्रेंड था मेरा. बोला इंडिया में इंडिया का ब्रांड US में खरीदता है. कमाल है यार. कोई वहाँ का बांग्लादेश का लेने का था ना आपको. वहाँ पे टेक्सटाइल तो इंडिया, बांग्लादेश, ताइवान इसका ही मिलता है, थाईलैंड का मिलता है. तो ऐसे ये सब क्या है? So what I'm trying to say that the, you know, ethnicity you should bring in, you know, the North Indian, South Indian, the zonal impact on the purchase behavior will be very important as far as you are concerned. You can bring this concept for an example. Ethnicity, culture, education, age, religion, all these democratic variables could be very important factors in your, you know, in your topic. Even Venki's topic, the age will be a good factor. He has already done cluster. So this is just a very old slide of mine, which I've been using for the last 35 years. So how the variables are. Variables could be very deceptive, but if you clarify and explain, it becomes more clearer to make the picture more interesting. So we call it a day for today.